So like I want to try to explain what I mean by like when I say our universe. Like I've already tried to explain like I think the best example is like the one I gave for like where the deity was like cooking with like the spoon made of stars. So like you see like when the result is like there's the 369 curve, and like for me I understand like the 369 curve is like the result of the phi constant, where it's like 1.1 something something something. I was just too lazy to I've been just too lazy to look it up. So like take my word for it and look it up for yourself. So like for me I think this is that's one of like the constants for like our universe, where like they're like rules, or like okay, for like the way I understand it, it's like if a universe had a designation, or like I want to say okay, for like my comic book readers, the way like in DC there's like Earth 1, Earth 2, or like in Marvel the way there's like universe the 3169 or something, like those designations. So like for ours, our designation would be that phi constant, because it's like the rule that like life follows. What I mean by that is like people always ask like, why do aliens have human characteristics? Like for me, the way to explain it is that because of this constant and like that 369 curve, I think, you see, I'm freeballing it here. So like I think that as a certain level of, I don't want to say consciousness, but like a certain level of life just will require that, like a body that looks human, let me say it like that, because that's how life in this universe works. And like I'm borrowing this because like maybe I watch too much anime, but like in like Dragon Ball, when like they explain universes, you see like even the beings in those universes vary, because like I think that's how it's supposed to be, where like every universe will have like its own set of rules. And like for me, I've already said like it's that phi constant, maybe you say the seven hermetic principles, um something like that, things like that. But then when you start like delving deeper into it, so like for me, I have never understood. Okay, it's not like I've never understood, but like I think we tend to simplify the idea of like dimensions. So like I think the average person thinks of dimensions of, or like as like um I want to say like for guys who've watched like this anime called Steins Gate. Steins Gate says like when a choice is made, like it's time that splits, and when time splits, it creates a different world line. It's not a different dimension. So like a world line is like, for example, in this world line, we are saying like, let me give a good example. Like Gaddafi died. So like in a different world line, Gaddafi is still alive at this moment in time. You see, so like those are different world lines, and I think that's how like people see dimensions. And for someone like me who's like obsessed with the idea of energy, I think of dimensions of as like the way like in Einstein's equations of like relativity, like they only work to like I think it's the 11th power or something. So like it shows like when like we talk of dimensions, it should be like we're talking about like the equivalent to realms of energy, where like it's a complete circle, where like it's its own entity, but like there's a there's it's like there's an outside barrier to it, which is like a different dimension. I think, okay, I get that, like, I'm trying to explain the impossible, but like, bear with me. So like, when when we talk of like the 12th dimension, that's like the totality, like it's everything all at once. So like the mini dimensions are like, um okay, I want to try to explain it in terms of sound. So like, or like waves, when like waves collide and like when they bounce back from like a reflection, you see like there's that interaction of like, there's an interference. Like the way I was taught it was like, you call it an interference. So like the interference of like the two patterns, or like the two waves creates like something in the middle. And the collision means that like the energy won't be transferred totally like to the outside. So like whatever is created in the middle will like, it'll have its own like resonance and like its own pattern, but it will differ from the outside, you see. So like when I talk of dimension, it's like it's the same energy, but it just keeps collapsing into itself to create something new and something new. And that's why like, for me, when I like one of like that Terence podcast, when I first the Terence Howard episode on the Joe Rogan podcast, like I keep telling people whenever I listen to that podcast, I keep getting goosebumps, because like it's like he's explaining something that it should intuitively make sense. Like when he started explaining like the octave thing for like metals, and how like you go up an octave, it creates a different metal and things like that. It literally shows that everything is like derived from itself, and for me that just intuitively just made sense. So like, and like for me, it also like uh, comes around to the idea that like, like everything from matter comes from like a single source. And like for me, who someone who's like a bit into energy and stuff like that, like I already said, like I do believe that uh, like light decomposed into matter, and like the whole universe is like a fractal light matrix, where like you take the ether as the canvas, and like the the different light spectrums are like the different kinds of paint that have been used to like create what we term as reality. But like that's into something else. So like for me, I really do believe like when Terence Howard explains it, like he tried to like dumb it down for us, but like it was like a good way to like put it, where like everything is connected, and like everything like is as a result of itself. So like everything that exists is just like emanating from like one source. So like our universe is just like, it's like a piece of like a very big pie, but like every like we're still an element of the pie. I don't know if you get, like, if I'm explaining this well even. But then when when I talk of like realms, but so like, okay, our universe is like in a dimension. Let me say that. So like a dimension will like contain all the different world lines and different like everything that will variate in that dimension, like is a part of that dimension. So like, for example, when I say our universe follows like that phi constant thing, so like what I mean by that is that the different world lines, or like the different universes in quotes that exist in that dimension will have to follow like a certain type of constant, where like maybe everything will be made like, okay, like for example, I was saying like maybe everything like that has a certain level of intelligence will like have a human construct. Maybe that's the basis of that dimension. where like a higher dimension, like if we take the common idea where this is the third dimension, going to the fourth dimension where it's like maybe everything is an ethereal being, it'll be like the rule of that dimension is that everything has like a light basis where like there is no interaction with physical matter. You get? So like then the fifth dimension will have a different rule that changes from the fourth one where like maybe there is no interaction between light particles, so like everything has to exist in it of itself, something like that. I'm just talking at this point. But then like in contrast to that, I always, because like I'm a big fan of Buddhism, I come back to the idea of like realms where like in Buddhism there's this wheel of samsara where like everything is like, where like our realm is split into like six different variations of itself, like they're like six different realms where like, okay, from the way I understood it, where like the two opposite sides of each realm interact with each other. So like the wheel of samsara is like split into two, where like the top half is the good half, the bottom half is like the bad half. So like for us, we exist in the top half, which is like the human realm, and like the opposite of the human realm of the bottom side is the animal realm. So like from my understanding of that wheel, it's like we share the same realm, but like we, okay, we see we have like different levels of consciousness, but like I think the essence of life is the same. But then like different parts of the wheel where like it's like the next realm is like the realm of the demigods, and like the opposite of that is the hungry ghost realm. So like I think of that as like, are those like the higher dimensional beings where like, are they to us like they'd appear like ethereal or like light beings? So that's why like from there I think of the idea when people say they see ghosts or like shadow entities, are these like are we like, are those people peeking into like higher dimensions, or like are, are they like, is there like an interaction between the higher and lower dimensions? Like I don't really, that's why like it really throws me off, like it, or like when you think of like the next realm, which is like the realm of the gods, and like the opposite, which is like hell, or like people's idea of hell. So like for me, I'm like, is are those all part of our realm? Like are those like, because like in Buddhism there's still the idea that you're supposed to escape the wheel of samsara, meaning that like there's existence outside of that. So like when I think of that in terms of our universe, like are you trying to say that, are they trying to say that what we term as like God and like higher beings, like they're still part of this like our universe, where it's like they're still part of like this dimension where like they still have physical entity, they like still have physical bodies, or like they still have like a physical element to them, but like they still haven't ascended to like higher dimensions where like the rules are different. Because like as a, okay, I'm also a big, like I think of myself as like the biggest conspiracy theorist. So like I usually hear these ideas of like how at the higher dimensional beings are like stealing energies from us, which are like lower dimensional entities. And I'm like, it's like, are they like are they ultra dimension, like okay, I don't know how to put it, like is it that, are they really higher dimensional beings, or like are they beings of our universe where like, but like they don't, like they can't, they're in a different realm, like a different, okay, okay, this is where like I usually say like the idea of dimensions like comes into play. Like is it that we're occupying the same space but we just can't see each other, or like is it that they occupy a completely different space, but they've somehow figured out a way to interact with us in in this lower space in quotes. So like for me that's just like how my inter understanding of the universe like just goes into work. Because like in my next video you'll see like for me cosmology just plays a huge role. So like if I can't really understand it, it's not that it's a bad thing, it just throws my thinking off or like out of work. Like because it's not like I think about this all day or every day, but it's just like when I think about it, just like I just like to think about it. But yeah, that's all I'm saying.